Some business news in Indian equity benchmarks have ended flat after extending losses earlier in the session. Financial stocks remained under pressure while tech stocks supported gains. Remember, markets will remain shut on Tuesday on account of Independence Day. My colleague Alex Matthew joins us with the very latest market action.
A considerable amount of chop and churn in the Indian equity markets at the start of the trading week. But what a recovery from the low point of the day. We started gap down and we hit a low of about 19,250 or thereabouts. But we've ended more or less unchanged. So it's a recovery of over 180 points from the low point of the day. You have more losers than gainers on the Nifty 50, and quite a bit of the support came from the likes of Reliance Industries, which gained over 1%, and also Infosys. The entire IT pack stood out as the best performers today. You also had quite a few FMCG names that gained ground, and you had the media pack as a whole that also gained. Among the losers, the one that stood out was the metal index, which lost over 2%. There are considerable concerns now that China is facing a slowdown in growth, among other problems, including in their real estate space, which could affect demand globally for metals. Now, a few other names that I would like to point out. Damani Organics dropped to over 6% in trade on account of a net loss that it posted in the first quarter. Phenolics Cables dropped about 7% despite a beat on earnings. AstraZeneca, on the other side of the picture, gained and hit a 27-month high as its profits surged. You had SpiceJet, which returned to the black and gained over 6% in trade. And you had ONGC, which also hit a 52-week high, gained only about 0.2%, but that's on the back of a doubling of its profit in the first quarter. Going ahead, of course, cues will be sought from the global markets, which were subdued, understandably, at the start of trade today, but they recovered ground. And also domestically, the consumer price index data, the inflation data that will come out later this evening, it's expected to spike to 6.5% in July from 4.8% in June. And this is largely on account of food prices. So that's something that will be watched. Also, the FII number, foreign institutional investors sold over 3,000 crore rupees on a net basis in the Indian equity markets on Friday. We'll have to look at how that number panned out in trade today.
One of the most successful investors in India, the big bull of the Lal Street, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, left the world on the 14th of August 2022 at the age of 62. Mr. Jhunjhunwala was the epitome of the eternal bull. Ramesh, Damani and Utpal, Sheth remember Rakesh Jhunjhunwala fondly. Do listen in.
Despite all the many mistakes I made and whatever, I wish if I was my younger self, he asked me what quality that you wish you had when you were younger than you now. Okay. I wish I had more courage and conviction. I think the difference between, say, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala is the amount of courage and conviction that he brought. You talk about megatrends. In 1989, he was telling me that India's time has come, that India will be, not the third world country, but the third largest economy in the world, that the tax rates of 90% will go down to 30%, that trading systems would evolve. He was very clear, even in the 89, 90s, that this was the huge mega trend. And whenever the market fell, it's not that he felt the market would always go up, but when it would fall, he would buy, he would remain bullish on India. So the mega trend that he captured so well was bullish on India. And did I capture it? No, I didn't capture it fully. We remain bullish, we remain invested, but his heart bled because he believed the opportunity was there in India.
Everybody knows and talks about the power of compounding. But when you plot that power of compounding, you will see that curve is a parabolic curve. Okay? So, to be in the game at the time that parabolic effect comes is so crucial. Right? So, it is important to know whether or not the parabolic effect is behind you or ahead of you. Right? And that comes from your perception of that terminal value. So when Rakeshji would have bought at 32 rupees, he may have thought that the terminal value is X in his mind. It was not a precise number. It was a directional number. But as his conviction, as Rameshji put it, as his conviction, as his insight kept on increasing, that terminal value kept on moving higher much faster than the pace at which the price kept on moving higher. Right? So at all points of time, he knew that the parabolic effect is ahead of me.
Raymond's first quarterly net profit grew 13 times to over 1,000 crore rupees, but margins contracted substantially. The Group Chief Financial Officer Amit Agarwal says the subdued demand is not a major concern. So what did affect their margins? Listen in.
This was a subdued demand right from the January, February in this year. Because last year there was a very strong demand. Comparatively, we have seen a subdued demand. There are a few seasonal reasons. One, clearly there was some intermittent rain in the month of March, which gave an impact to the farmer community. Then you had a very excessive heat. And then in the north, early July, you had seen, mid-July, you had seen some very strong rains, which did not bring the customers to the shops. The second thing what also happened was that there were lesser number of wedding days in this year, and in this quarter that has also impacted. But in spite of that, if I look at it, we have done fairly well, especially on the branded apparel side. We have delivered more than 16% revenue growth and also expanded our EBITDA margin. Similarly, on the branded textile, you see the fabrics that reflects very clearly that with the wide reach which the company has and the product range which the company has been able to demonstrate also a growth in that business.
Muthoot Finance took a knock in trade today, falling more than 5% intraday. This after the company reported a mixed June quarter earnings. While the gold finance company's net profit rose, the net interest margin fell. BQ Prime spoke to MD George Alexander Muthoot, and he is confident of significant strides in the gold loan segment. Listen in.
As far as the gold loan business is concerned, we had earlier in the last 2 quarters, we have given a guidance of 10 to 15% growth in the AUM of gold loan. So we stand by it, and I'm sure seeing in the last quarter, the Q4 of last year and Q1 of this year, we should be able to definitely achieve the 10 to 15% or probably more. I don't want to change any outlook now, but definitely the guidance which we gave, we are definitely able to grow. So today, the non-gold loan portfolio was about 11%. Now it is about 12%. So going forward in the next 3-4 years, our non-gold loan portfolio, like this housing finance, the microfinance, maybe the vehicle finance, etc., should come up to about 20% in the 3-4 months. We have also started a small book on the salaried personal loan, which is about almost 2 years now, which is about 600 crores of AU in the salaried personal loan. And some SME loans also we have started. Small portfolios, but then going forward in the next few years, we should see it growing.
Garden Reach Shipbuilders' net profit and operating profit jumped in the June quarter. Moreover, revenue and margins also saw an uptick. BQ Prime spoke to PR Hari of GRSE, Garden Reach, about the road ahead for the company.
Our Q1 results have been very, very encouraging. And actually, it's the best in the history of the company, with our revenue from operations moving up by 30% year on year, and also the profit after tax by 54%. Now, coming to the order book position, we stand at a healthy 24,546 crores as on 30th June 2023. And this order book we expect to complete by FY27. This order book comprises of 4 projects for the Indian Navy, consisting of 19 warships, 3 P-17 Alpha advanced frigates, 8 anti-submarine shallow water crafts, and 4 survey vessels large. Of this, the survey vessel, delivery of the survey vessels will start from the current financial year. The first ship is already being readied for trials, and we expect to sail the ship out for contractor sea trials in the coming week. So that is the level of project maturity that we have achieved. And 2 of these ships we expect to deliver during the current financial year, and 2 more in the next year.
Wholesale prices have contracted for the 4th straight month in July on the back of a decline in fuel and power prices. However, wholesale prices in the food basket have risen by ballooning prices of vegetables, including tomatoes and onions, because of supply-side challenges. The wholesale price index for manufactured products saw a decline of 2.51%. The July WPI for edible oils declined 22.6%. We'll take a short break, come back.